right before the 6th Street Wilshire exit, and we just found out that the going to start arresting them. So they told us to get back in our cars, but most everybody's getting out of their cars. I actually saw it when it first happened. The traffic started getting in a standstill, and then all of a sudden I noticed a bunch of people getting out of a car. I just thought that they were, they had to get to an appointment, they had to get out of their Uber, but then I noticed their T-shirts, which had, some sayings about Israel and Palestine. So I immediately realized that, oh, Lord, it's going to be a demonstration, and they're going to stop the freeway.
Yeah, Nick, we were just wondering, it's Frank Buckley here, we were wondering, what it must have been like when the shutdown happened, because that freeway is so heavily trafficked, it seems quite dangerous to suddenly stop traffic and get out of your vehicle. Were cars honking? Were they trying to get past the stoppage, or did you arrive just after that?
No, like I said, it started slowing down. And so, a lot of times this is normal. Obviously, it's LA traffic. It's the morning, people getting to work. But then all of a sudden it was really at a standstill. And that's when I noticed the demonstrators come out of their car and make a run for it. And I think everybody at that point, there was really no honking, but everybody was sort of like, what is happening? What is happening? And slowly, people started getting out of the cars and realizing that, oh, it's not just regular LA crazy traffic, that in fact there was a demonstration, and they were shutting down, the demonstrators were shutting down the freeway. And that's when I think that, the people in their cars started either honking, they started getting out. I noticed several motorcycles make a run for it. And some actually, I walked over right where the demonstrators are and the police, and I noticed a couple of the motorcycles just plowed through and went through and continued on. And then there was a scuffle, and there was some demonstrators fighting with some of the motorists who got out of their car and started fighting with them and punching. And then I think the police got in there. And that's when I sort of walked away.
Actually, it looks like police are getting involved right now on the freeway. And it looks like perhaps some of these protesters may be getting detained. Yeah. We don't know exactly.
We have Jennifer McGraw, who I believe is either on the scene now. Nick, just hang on for a second. Our reporter Jennifer McGraw is there. I see, Jennifer, you're over the freeway. What are you seeing?
Frank and Lauren, we're on an overpass just down from where you can see the entire freeway is blocked off. As we were driving over here, we were listening to KNX. Margot Carrero, she's on the ground. She says there's 30 to 50 people linking arms. She says that they have they don't want to leave, that they will be arrested. So this could be quite some time before those people are even moved off the freeway, if in fact they are going to hold a stance out there. I'm also hearing that multiple agencies are coming to help because of the vast majority of people who are out there. Again, this is the main artery here in Los Angeles, the 110, the 101, the 5, so many freeways being affected. I also heard on Carrero's report that there were frustrated drivers, people even trying to, you can hear the engines revving, people trying to push through this blockade of people who just refuse to leave. We've even seen people out here with yellow vests, and it looks like they're trying to make their way onto the freeway. So you could have even more people showing up. But again, if these people just are not going to leave, it is going to take quite some time for these officers to get these people arrested and taken into custody. And then again, it's also intriguing to me how they were able to stop this major freeway. This must have been an orchestrated event to be able to stop. And I wonder too if the protesters got out of their cars, and so their cars are now blocking the freeway. So that could be a whole nother element to this, having a tow truck, having to take multiple cars out of here. But as you can see, maybe down the road, if you want to flip this way, Dave, you can see how multiple officers are now joining this. You can see them all coming up, and they probably will be getting on the freeway. So we've seen dozens of patrol cars, and no doubt they're on their way to get these people off the freeway. And as you see from Sky 5 overhead, there's just dozens of officers out there. So hopefully this mess will get wrapped up. Obviously, there are tensions over Israel and Hamas, and people are extremely upset on both sides, but in talking to people on the freeway, many of them are saying this is not the way to garner sympathy. So again, this is just a major situation here in Los Angeles that undoubtedly is going to be backing up traffic for quite some time. That's very latest from us. We'll send it back to you in Hollywood.
All right, Jennifer. And as Nick Varios was telling us just a moment ago, there was an instance when this first began when some of the motorcyclists tried to immediately cut through. And apparently we have video of that scene when the motorcycle, there it is.
Oh, wow.
A motorcycle went right through the line of protesters and did in fact take off. The CHP, it looks like, at least at that moment, didn't do anything to stop that motorcyclist, but the motorcyclist was not going to be stopped by the protesters. We do see those some of the people in the crowd wearing yellow vests often, or occasionally, when we do have street protests, there are lawyers who are part of a sort of a legal street team. I don't know if those lawyers are part of it or not. Nick, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Do you know if do you see any of those folks in the yellow vests? Do they seem to have some sort of a advisory role, or do you have any sense of what they're doing on the scene?
I do see some of them, but mainly I'm actually seeing some of the police arresting some of the demonstrators as well. Mm-hmm. It's a little calmer now, but we're still at a standstill. I think that they're going one by one, arresting the demonstrators. I'm right here, right behind them, and noticing that right now.
We see that in our live images as well. Can you tell us, Jennifer McGraw is talking about how this all started, and I believe you were saying that you did see how it started, that it was activists or protesters that were on the freeway in their vehicles and got out of their cars?
That's correct. Exactly. I actually saw the moment right when the traffic started, the standstill happened, and all of a sudden I looked to my right and I noticed about 4 or 5 people get out of a car. I just thought that they were late to an appointment and they had to get out of the Uber, even though it was obviously odd to get out of in the middle of a freeway. But then I noticed they all had these T-shirts on. And I said, uh-oh. Something is going down.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going down. And Nick, typically in a street protest like this, an act of civil disobedience, there is an announcement made by the police over loudspeakers that this is an unlawful assembly, you will be arrested. Did you hear that sort of an announcement? And are they making announcements over the loudspeakers to the protesters to disperse or anything of that nature?
Yes, they did. But that only happened, I would say, maybe 5 to 8 minutes ago. Before then, there was no announcement of speaker. The way that us, the people in our cars and the stuck in traffic found out what anything was going on was just basically getting out of our cars and heading over here to see, oh, this is what's happening. But that announcement from the police didn't happen until, I would say, maybe 7 minutes ago.
And subsequently, we have seen these protesters be detained by authorities. I'm curious just what time this happened, and also, was there traffic at the time that this started, or was the freeway moving fast?
It was not. It was medium, I would say. It was medium. There always is a slight standstill when you head towards downtown, but I think it was just a normal morning traffic, but then it just went to an immediate standstill. And then, we just assumed there was an accident. I did. I assumed there was an accident, but then that's when I noticed the people get out of their car. And I said, oh, okay, got it. Something else is happening.
And you said there were fisticuffs, that people, some of the motorists were upset and engaged the protesters physically. Yes.
That's correct. I actually have video of it, but because I was just right there shooting it, and they did. So it got a little, obviously tempers are flaring up, and so some of the motorists that got out of the car started getting into physical altercations and fights with some of the demonstrators, and then the demonstrators were shouting back, screaming back. So that's what was happening. And right then and there, then the police started moving in.
And are the protesters chanting anything or saying anything in support of their position, again, to call for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza? This apparently is the group called If Not Now. Do you hear anything from them, or are they just sitting there silently?
No, they were. Yes, they were. There was a sort of leader, perhaps, that was doing the verbal protest, verbal chants. I just saw some of the policemen. There was a menorah on the freeway. They just took it away, actually, and they are taking some of the other protesters away. But yes, I did. To answer your question, I did see sort of the leader of them do chants. I cannot say what would say. Unfortunately, I apologize for that.